So here's Seth Rollins on Cody Rhodes and Travis Scott. Here's what he had to say on the, let me read what this pod's called, Helix Wireless, which sounds like a cell phone carrier or something.
Dude, what would happen if Travis Scott did what he did to Cody Rhodes to you? Well, he's got the black eye. I guess was supposed to be.
That was ridiculous.
You take him out, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have mercy on Travis Scott. That is not a man that needs to be in a wrestling ring with these giant humans. No offense to him, but I mean, he's just. He's a cruiserweight brother, you know what I mean? He can wrestle Rey Mysterio maybe, but like he doesn't know what he's doing in there. He just whacked him in the side of the head, gave him a big old bruise, so like busted him open. Just awful. But like if Cody gets his hands on him, I mean it's done and dusted. And Cody's not like Braun Strowman. He's not Andre the Giant. Like he's not a massive guy, but he dwarfs Travis Scott. So I mean, if he can get through like Travis's team of people, it's game over for him.
You think he actually wants to? Well, I mean, I know he doesn't. Go ahead.
Cody's a very nice guy. I won't speak on his behalf, but he's got an undercurrent of frustration in there, especially when he gets taken advantage of in a situation like that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
Guys, Cody Rhodes is going to get his receipt. It's going to be legendary. Don't worry about that. Moving along. So here was the MSG card. It was phenomenal. Let's see here. Raj Giri says the WWE Raw and Netflix numbers were way up. Oh, sorry. And in AEW news, it also said that, but I put it in the wrong folder. NXT's ratings were up as well. They did great ratings or whatever, but they were way up from the prior week's number. So they averaged 3.1 million, up 19%. And then, it was number 4 on the US chart, number 1. I mean, NXT and SmackDown are number 1 in Canada and all the time. Here is Shawn Michaels receiving a gift from MSG selling out. So this is a gift he got for selling out the Garden himself and being pettiest towards AEW, as we covered earlier.
Thank you so much. No, I got to tell you, I've been in this building numerous times performing, and it's obviously, but I mean, look, for those of us that wanted to do this from the time we were kids, to have an opportunity to be in this place was just the greatest thing in the world.
Commemorative ticket from the sold-out Roadblock event.
That is staggering. Oh my goodness.
Enjoy and show them how it displays.
That is amazing. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
The Raw comes in. You can turn that sumbitch sideways and shove it straight up your candy ass. No, I'm joking. Moving on here. So apparently Nick Khan is a big fan of New Jack, which is why he's included in the WWE 2K25 DLC. New Jack was a shock to all of us on the visual concepts and marketing side. New Jack was someone who I never expected would make it in our franchise. It's funny because it was actually Nick Khan who recommended or suggested that we add New Jack as DLC. When I heard that information from my marketing rep, I was like, really? They were like, oh yeah, he's a big fan. I believe he's working on the paperwork to make this thing a reality. That was a huge surprise. Talk about a curveball. That thing came out of left field. So yeah, I mean, it's cool, dude. We were making jokes the other day, like, what is the mass transit match? Like, what's going to happen? So here is Natalya, who was on Ariel Helwani's show talking about John Cena's final run. And here, I don't know if we're going to listen to this whole clip, but she says that the exciting thing about WWE is you just want to see what's going to happen next. That's why our company's on fire. Literally, we're doing so well because it's like reading a great book. So there you go. I mean, we don't need to go through the whole clip. I have other Natty clips, don't worry, that I will play, but this one's 3 minutes long. But that's essentially what you take away. Even Natty gets it. The boat. She's about to wrestle in the Crockett Cup. She's about to do Bloodsport. She's like, I'm going to put myself to the test. Here we go. Giga Chad Van Vliet with Big Papa Pump. And here's Scott Steiner, who utterly obliterates Hulk Hogan into obliviacry.
Master need to obliviate.
When another wrestler decides he's going to decide who wins is.
Why do you think he did that?
There's no other way you can say it. You know, he's a piece. Like we did a Nitro in Buffalo, and I knew who I had to wrestle per se, but 10 minutes before the shows go on air, 10 to 8, I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. We had to wait till Hogan got to the building and say, clear it. Yeah, you could do what they have written down. So it was like, you know, just like that.
So you're still not good with Hogan to this day?
I mean, what am I going to do now? You know, it's like, but I don't forget, I mean, there's a reason why he got booed in California,
California.
I mean, all this stuff that came out with him, racist comments. Now, you would never found that out if it wasn't recorded behind, closed doors. So I think a lot of people realize, the perception that WWE or WCW wanted of Hulk Hogan was not really him.
Didn't the Steiners hold a guy down and shove a marker up his ass? Isn't that a story from back? And I'm not kidding. I don't know if Scott's the arbiter of morality here. And, anyways.
The racist comment and, Hogan and Savage, when I was good friends of Savage. So I knew all the stories and he used to tell me all this stuff. And it was just, and then of course the one time, he tried to put me in jail,
Wait, what?
So, I was facing serious time. I could have been, in jail for, 15 years.
What did you try to put him in jail for, bruv? Crazy. So here is the insane atmosphere. So just take a look at this. Well, it just says insane atmosphere. This is from Brian Gewirtz. This totally beats Sunday Night Heat at the long defunct Times Square restaurant. But just look at this shit. This is at NXT. That's awesome, man. AEW should do that. I know. They did it one time. Yeah, after 4 or 5 years of not figuring out how to be different here. So Triple H confirms Paul Heyman is helping to coach Bron Breakker. Breakker is a young guy, incredibly athletic, great character. He's a sponge. I have Heyman spend a lot of time with him to help develop him with his promos, to help develop his character, to help push him in a direction. Then Paul talks to me and talks to the writers about where do we want to take that. And then he's the conduit for where we want to go to that talent. The NXT fans at MSG are chanting, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." So it's just hottish. This is exactly why you bring him out, doing the same old, so everyone can go, John Cena sucks, and let's go Cena, Cena sucks, and same old. I swear to you, dude, you just have him shilling the company. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks! Let's go Cena, Cena sucks! So this had an NXT show. Like, let's go see it all. So here's Andrew Schulz, who's I don't know, dude. He's pretty cringe on his pod. We were talking about, that's my opinion, but damn, this is a great moment. He crushed it. I didn't watch this, but let's take a listen.
I am here with Andrew Schulz,
he crushed it, by the way. Like, he really took it seriously and crushed his moment. And I give him big props for that. So shout out Schultz. I will not watch his stand-up special, though, unless people paid me.
Just told Logan Paul off in front of a sold-out Madison Square Garden. Tell me, how does that feel?
Kathy, I gotta say I disagree with you. I don't think I told him off. I think I was being honest with somebody that I used to consider a friend. Like, we've done each other's podcasts. Like, we've known each other for years. I congratulate him on being a father. And then he asked me a question and he wants me to lie in front of my people in New York City. It's like, I can't, like, what kind of douchebag makes you lie in front of your people? Yeah. So I need to tell them the truth. We're not here to see, Logan parade around as this like part-time wrestler / Pokemon card collector, whatever the hell.
See, he's getting it over too. Like, what kind of douche would do that? He's doing such a great job. I love that he's taking this seriously, earned big points with me.
Well, he does. There are people who have dedicated their lives to this. And I want to see them. That's why I showed up. It took me my entire life to perform at the Garden, right? This guy buys a Pokemon card for $4 million. He gets to show up. To me, it seems incredibly unfair. So
I love it, dude.
I can't believe he did that to me, to be honest with you. At least tell me we'll have like a fair fight, man to man. I have my wife right there. You know what I mean? Like,
I know you got involved, but are you planning to go back out there and watch the main event? You said you were.
Of course. I'm here for the main event. I can't just tap in like some of these schmucks who like show up and they do their little thing and then they leave. No. This is what I'm here to watch. So I'm going to go watch the main event.
He's like the newest wrestling fan.
But yeah, most importantly, like, Yeah, Logan, I'm going to bump into Logan again. And yeah, and this time we're going to be a little bit more prepared and it's going to be a little bit less cordial. That's
Phil, from what I found, Scott Steiner pleaded guilty to aggravated assault while making terroristic threats in March 1999.
You
Whoa. And Hogan called the Poe on him for what? What was he saying? He's going to beat him up? Like, Hogan, man.
all I'm trying to say. Okay.
Well, while you're watching the main event, where can people watch your new Netflix special, Life?
Oh, they can watch it on Netflix, as you just said, Kathy. That was amazing what you did right there. I can't believe we're shamelessly plugging it. But yeah, you can watch my new special, Life.
Okay, we're not going to do that, but you can come back on to wrestling anytime. Jade Cargill goes, I don't give a damn. Okay, well, she starts beefing with Rikishi, with the quiche. So Rikishi said some, and then Jade Cargill tags him as like, I don't give a damn, Rikishi. Your daughter was dead wrong, and she's going to get everything coming to her bitch ass. And then Trinity's like, I might have been dead wrong, but you were almost dead. Don't ever tweet my pops again. And then Jade was like, your pops. And so they're really ramping up the heat. Now it's kind of crazy because it's like, dude, you're going to open up fans to, because there's so many idiots. They're going to think the kayfabe's real and all this shit. And it's just not a, Steiner yelled at Hogan's wife. Oh, that's up. Yeah. And then Hogan lied. Well, that's, you can't yell at women, dude. That's, you know, unless it's your wife. And you're allowed to. No. We joke here at PWT, ladies and gentlemen. AEW Collision airing 2 1-hour episodes. We covered that before. I don't know why that was. So I mixed them up. I got an NXT one in the AEW folder, and I got a AEW one in the WWE folder. But the only double champs in NXT history. So I believe this is Hayes with the North American and Cruiserweight title. I believe this is Keith Lee with the North American and NXT titles. I believe this is Bron Breakker with the NXT 2.0 and the NXT UK titles. And I believe this is Stephanie Vaquer with the women's NXT and the women's North American title. However, hello, you have Mandy Rose, who won the women's UK and the women's NXT title. And you're knocking off Paige here, who was had the NXT Divas title and the Divas title, or the NXT Women's title, I believe it was called, but also, just 2 NXT titles at a time. You know, Mandy also did that. So is what it is. Scott Steiner said this about Bron Breakker. He's like, well, they never shit away from that because they introduced us at the Hall. Oh, they never shied away from that. Sorry. Introduced us at the Hall of Fame. So for whatever reason, they use Bron Breakker, but they know he's a Steiner. So I think Brock Scott's son will probably use the Steiner name. I'm not sure if it'll be Brock, but it'll be Steiner. Yeah, they should just go. It's with Bron Breakker when they main rostered him. They should have just went Braun Steiner. Because like Brock Steiner and Braun Steiner, that's like a deadly tag team I want to see. So hopefully they fix that. Here is Roman Reigns making a hilarious face and doing a Percy Pringle Paul Bearer impersonation. Oh, yes. But you got to have fun, folks. What a face he's putting on there, huh? So also in attendance at the last WWE event there in New York at MSG, Karrion Kross says also in attendance last night at WWE Raw, local hometown hero and legend, former UFC welterweight champion of the world, Matt the Terra Serra. Nothing like WWE Live. It's all about making new fans every day, and there's no better way than seeing it all go down in person. And so here's Matt Serra just talking about him thanking Karrion Kross and him walking around talking about his WWE time.
All right, champ, where are we going today?
I'm going to my first ever WWE event. It's Monday Night Raw, and my buddy Karrion Kross set this up. I brought my family into Manhattan, and I heard this is some kind of steel cage match or something. I'm very excited about it. Guys, you excited? Let's go.
So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully he enjoyed it, open his mind up. So breaking, this is from another source now. I don't know if WWE's announced it yet, but I think it's just 100% happening at this point. But Typhoon Fred Ottman has confirmed that he and Earthquake John Tenta Jr., collectively known as the Natural Disasters, will be inducted into the 2025 Hall of Fame. So round of applause for those two legends. You know what I mean? Where's my clapperoo here? Round of applause for them. because they crushed. So Seth Rollins gives an update on Becky Lynch and pretty much stooges what's going on with her.
She took a few months off. She did some television and film projects. And so she's gearing up to get ready to come back. Don't know when that's going to happen just yet. But, I mean, she is active. Yes, that I will say. She is not retired. She's not mentioned anything about retirement. There are future plans for her in professional wrestling. You know, she took a few months off. She did some television and film projects. And so she's gearing up to get ready to come back. Don't know when that's going to happen just yet. But, I mean, she is active. Yes, that I will.
Yeah, so she's staying in shape doing movies, and we already know. She'll be back sooner than later. I don't want it spoiled. I just want it to happen where I'm like kind of forgetting about it, you know? So I'm like, whatever. Becky's coming back. Cool. In addition to removing Freakin' from Seth Freakin' Rollins' name, the official WWE roster page has also removed Dirty from Dom Mysterio and Big from Bronson Reed. I like this. You know, Roddy Piper should just be Roddy Piper. He shouldn't be Rowdy Roddy Piper in the thing. I get it. It is his nickname. Everyone has nicknames. If we're going to start doing that, then why isn't Dave Bautista the Beast, or the Animal or whatever? So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Seth Freakin' Rollins was kind of lame anyways, too. People started calling him Franklin. And so, Roadblock, we went over that. Here is Stephanie McMahon's ESPN series, Stephanie's Places. Here's the guest order. Punk, Rhodes, Ripley, Austin. What? Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Pat McAfee, The Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena. So all the heavy hitters. I likely won't watch this show. Maybe I'll watch it. Scott Steiner says that Jordynne Grace using the sirens at the start of her entrance music. He says, I met her in TNA. She's come a long way. She looks good. How he came up with the sirens. Oh, that wasn't him saying that. How he came up with the sirens. It was just something I came up with. It was me and one of my wife's friends. She knew from back in Buffalo or Rochester. His name was Ben Zeppelin. He did music, and so not Led Zeppelin, but Ben Zeppelin, right? He's a cover. He does covers. He did music and still does in New York. I collaborated with him, and we came up with that entrance music. Okay, so that's a cool little story. So Lex Luger wants to have DDP and Sting at his WWE Hall of Fame induction. So that would be amazing. They could do it. Sting, I believe, as a Legends deal, man. He always has with WWE to where they could, if they want to, they can make merchant with him on it. They just don't exercise that right, you know, or whatever they have with him. But same with Billy Gunn this whole time. This isn't new. Like Billy Gunn went in the Hall of Fame. They made fun of AEW, hasn't been around. He's in the new game because I think he's going to head over there with the Gun Boys sooner than later. But yeah, I believe has had a Legends deal this whole time with WWE. So Lex Luger said, if I could have my two guys up there with me, man, DDP on my shoulder, kind of spotting me, and Sting on the other. God damn, that would be awesome. If it's possible, I go, man, that would be amazing. So we shall see if I have anything to say about that. But ultimately,
I don't know.
So we'll leave it up in the air, Lex, and we shall see. So this is something, someone tagged me in this or something, and they're like, what the hell I just saw? I've never heard this. People are like, you don't remember this? No, not at all. So I'm going to play this, and let's react to it together.
Has more than one black champion.
And then Cody Rhodes, did he really tweet out, when I showed this to Brandy, she loved it. I take my status as a Negro icon seriously, melanin in my soul. Is that really a thing he tweeted? We got to break it up here for the music. Here, we'll skip ahead a bit. Oh my God, dude.
And then, in his soul, Negro icon Cody Rhodes, doing it for the culture, my G. When blacks are down, Cody's there, and he knows how to prepare. But then he puts his kid in regularly. It's called around.
This is absolutely insane, whoever made this, okay? And he retweeted that or whatever. That's crazy. Travis Scott revealed to be training to wrestle with Booker T. So you couldn't have a better teacher. Reality of wrestling is taking over. For a lot of people are like, dude, I watch reality of wrestling instead of like MLW or AEW or whatever. They now have a TV show like on TV. And then we covered it on the last show. Then they have a new ROW show, like taking over their YouTube show, and then they have another new ROW show, like with all unique characters. That's called like ROW Up, and it's the NXT Level Up logo, pretty much. But Booker's allowed to use it and do his own show, and he's teaching people how to get TV ready. So yeah, I just think that if he's gonna train with anyone, Booker's the guy. So here's Natty Neidhart talking to Ariel Helwani about the state of women's wrestling under the guidance of Triple H. So shout out the Ariel Helwani show, shout out the boys in back, shout out Natty Neidhart.
I look back to what Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, they were doing, this is a long time ago, but they were doing like a press conference after a match, and I think they had a shot or something together, and they were so funny. You could tell that they were like a little drunk, but it was so funny. And like, I love it when you kind of pull down that fourth wall. You know what I mean? And I think like fourth wall, it's the best. It's just, like it's I think we're doing a lot more of that in WWE, and like it's fun because I feel like now, for the first time in my 18 years of being in WWE and having grown up in it, I always felt, and that's what I was saying earlier, I just always felt like I had to be perfect, especially when Vince McMahon was in charge. Like, I just had to be perfect. I had to show him that like I was going to be the exact opposite of what my dad was. And I could be so professional, and I could just do everything that everybody wanted and say all the right things and do all the right things. And what I love right now is that Triple H and the powers that be, Nick Khan and our bosses, they're not expecting us to be perfect. They're not,
all these wrestlers love coming on these shows now because they're allowed to do pods and just venting. You can tell. I love it. Moving along here. So this is how you hate on a coworker online. So Jade Cargill's like Kool-Aid in a wine glass, and then Trinity Fatu's like more like in a toilet. Gotcha, MJF. So here's Seth Rollins cooking Hulk Hogan. So Steiner cooked Hulk. Rollins about to cook Hulk.
Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik, 1984. I know you're a huge fan of Hulk, right? You remember that moment?
I was a Hogan fan growing up, yes.
I was being facetious.
No. Growing up, I was a Hogan fan, and I've said a million times, the dude has been nothing but kind to me in my life and our, interactions. Doesn't make him a good person. Obviously, he's run into some issues as of late, and we'll see if he clears those up. That's his business, though.
Were you surprised? I mean, I wasn't even going to bring up Hulk. The way he was booed, that was out in L.A., right?
No,
I don't remember. Okay.
No, I was not surprised.
Like that vociferously, like there was no cheers.
No, none. I mean, look, he hasn't done a lot to like kind of harbor goodwill in his name over the past few years. And so I just think with everything that's going on with him, he came out. I saw it coming. I don't know if anybody else did, but I did. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
You got to love Seth with his don't give a energy nowadays. A lot of these wrestlers. Vince Russo has disclosed, okay? So Vince Russo disclosed, bro, he would book some chicks to be with Drew McIntyre so that Drew becomes the most important member of the roster on Legion of Raw this week. Russo said, bro, what I actually said, bro, do you want the real quote, bro? Or are you just listening? Are you not castrating marks with me, bro? Listen, bro, I got to just explain this to people so people understand where I'm coming from, bro. Listen, bro, I would probably have Drew McIntyre have him go corporate, bro. Put some hot chicks on his arm. Let him be now. Hot chicks like Stripperella, bro. Girls like that. I mean, something from like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I used to watch those and rewind, bro. And I'm telling you, put some hot chicks with Drew McIntyre, bro. I would go back to heel GMs too. What is he talking about? Yeah, let's just everything up. And are you not watching the show? The heels are The Rock, and he's the most powerful guy. Comes around once in a while. You don't need heel GMs, Vince. His ideas are so bad. So bad. I would go, bro, listen, in my day back in the 90s, bro, when I invented The Rock and Stone Cold and The Undertaker, bro, I would go back to heel. I would bring Vince back, bro. Vince McMahon, bro. This guy is $1 million, bro. So there you go, man. He'd put some hot chicks with him. Here is Natty Neidhart talking about how she never feels like she's owed a goddamn thing, and she wants to go continue to prove herself and embrace the grind, bruv, and win a Crockett Cup, win a Bloodsport match.
Like for me, I never feel like I'm owed anything. I always want to earn my spot. The women's division in WWE has never been this strong ever. It has never been so competitive. When I look at the women in NXT and I look at the women on Raw and I look at the women on SmackDown, I'm like, this is the greatest women's, like as a whole, collectively, this is the strongest that it's ever been.
And who helped ushered in that era?
Thank you.
Pioneer, the trailblazer, you know it.
Well, and the thing is, though, is that I don't rest on all the things that I've done. I don't go, wow, I did this, or I have this, or I did that, or I had this match. I've had some incredible matches. You know, one of my favorite matches of my entire career is against Charlotte Flair, TakeOver 2014. It was a very, very first TakeOver, and it was only in front of 200 people. And I love that match more than any WrestleMania that I've ever done.
Wow.
It was like just such a special, special match, and it was at NXT. But I never just rely on great matches or things that I've done in the past. Like for me, I think you got to earn your spot. So in all seriousness, I feel like I need to step outside of WWE to work my way back in.
Hell yeah, that's a great mentality to have. She's locked in. I think she wins the Crockett Cup. Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan's just a crazy wild dude. I love that guy. I hope he does the damn thing. Logan Paul talks about the backstage dynamics in WWE. He goes, so, dude, at the end of the day, you put a bunch of humans together, bro. It's like school. It's basically like school. And in school, you have your cliques, and some people you don't really get along with, and some people you really get along with, bro. Some of the guys backstage, like Stu, the cameraman, camera 6, me and this guy just butt heads, bro. Stu, bro, he assaulted me. He hit me. He hits me. Well, he hit me once, bro, but I'm sure he'll do it again, and I'm collecting evidence, bro. This Stu guy. But enough about it's not WWE's the greatest job ever. Please don't fire me. Here's the thing with Stu. Wouldn't it be amazing if that's how Cena turns back a babyface for his last match? He's like, you're hitting Stu? Stu's my guy. So they end this Dynamite with Cassidy wrestling Hitchicero and then Bayley limping out to smile and point at and face Cassidy for this tournament. Like, Tony's the worst wrestling booker of possibly all time. So moving along here, Joe Weller says Triple H once kicked him out at WrestleMania after he was invited by Paul Heyman. I don't know who Joel Weller is. Some goober on the Impulsive podcast, but he's like, dude, I went to WrestleMania. Paul Heyman was like, I loved your video, that swimming pool one. Is this one of the Island Boys? Yeah, we went to Island Boys. Is it one of those guys? He was like, come along, let's make another one, and I'll get you in at WrestleMania. You can stay in the WWE hotel. So he ribbed you, bro. He ribbed you. Heyman ribbed this geek. Triple H kicked me out, man. He was like, who's this YouTuber? Get out of here. They were so not open to the YouTube stuff back then. I think he was still wrestling, but it was very much like, who is this YouTuber? There was no embracing of it back at that point, but Paul Heyman's got it, and we made a video. We made Brock Lesnar say, you, Joe, and it was sick. So, yeah, I guess he was there when Vince was in charge. So, yeah, obviously, you know, he might not even, like, understand the dichotomy back then and how things worked back then, right? And he's right. They were not open to that whatsoever then. So I don't know who the Joe Weller is, but so, okay. WWE ID just tweets out GCW. So there you go. They're looking at GCW. Here is Natty Neidhart's book, From the Dungeon to WWE. I want Natty to come out at her GCW Bloodsport match wearing a Heart family dungeon, like a Heart dungeon tee. That'd be so sick. But yeah, there's her book, The Last Heart Beating. Booker T helped her come up with that name. Yeah, Seth Franklin Rollins, or Seth freaking Rollins, is no longer freaking Franklin anymore. Joe Weller, we covered that. Here's Rey Mysterio talking to Moses the Jeweler about how he says the Ruthless Aggression era to him was the best time ever. Now, no doubt, because he got to put his mask back on. He got to go make some money in WWE. He became the world's greatest luchador. He became an overnight sensation, led the cruiserweight division, was part of the SmackDown 6, won the tag titles with Edge, won them with Eddie, Batista, numerous people, fought for the world title, became a world champion, all of those things. So yeah, obviously the Ruthless Aggression era would be his peak time of his career. So let's take a listen, because everyone says Attitude Era. I say maintain Ruthless Aggression, and the Invasion stuff was good. They just didn't have all the guys. But like that era as well, to me, is one of the best ever, even though right after the Ruthless, like right when I always say, like when the Spirit Squad showed up, like DX reunited, and that was like awesome, but that was also the end of when wrestling was like cool and good. Like they did some funny. DX was like, okay, we'll watch this, but it was like right around then when the Spirit Squad showed up, and every tag team was just like two random dudes, and ECW was brought back, and it just started falling off. And then again, it picked up again a little bit with like the Punks and the Bryans and the Bray Wyatts came in, and then just, you know, and the Shields came in. It was like, ooh, there's something here. Then it just fell off a cliff. Even though in like 2015, 16, we had like, okay, Nakamura, AJ, Samoa Joe's here. Okay. So NXT was cooking, but like Vince would never pull the trigger fully. You know, AJ did do some good stuff there early on, but either way, though, I digress. Ultimately, it became what it became 10 years after that. And, but the Ruthless Aggression era, like, I don't feel like it fully fell off yet. There's an alliteration, but Phil doesn't feel like it fully fell off. I thought it was still slapping for a long time, like all through the JBL when he was the champ. Cena has his run, becomes US champ at 20, then has his run and becomes world champ, like WWE champ. Like all of that was money, bro. Anyways, let's continue along.
What was your favorite era in WWE, WWF history? Was it when you were fighting back in the mid-2000s, or?
So for me personally, the Ruthless Aggression era, which was when I jumped into WWE for the first time, 2002. All those matches that we had, like with Edge.
And here's the thing I never figured out either. Why did Rey Mysterio sit out so long? Like, was he just getting that money too? And he's like, I'll just keep, you know, what made him go, yeah, I'll come to WWE? Or I don't know. I'd love to know the story behind that too. Like, I don't know if he's ever said it before, but.
With Eddie, with Chavo, Benoit, Kurt Angle, were just insane. Like I felt like I was learning so much, working with so many greats, and at the same time, like we were throwing everything in the ring. Like we were just giving everything, all the passion, love, sweat, blood, and we would have some bangers like night after night. We were working a lot more back then. We were doing
the SmackDown 6, bro. Chavo, Eddie, Ray, Edge, Kurt, Benoit. They were just phenomenal, you know, and you had your top 2 cruiserweights in the world, and then you could have a tag team out of that, and they established those WWE tag teams with those 6, and then you had the world title picture out of that too. So those 6, you plug them into any division or whatever, those are like your core guys, and then from there you have Taker, Brock, Big Show, right? And it just, like, Heyman had it down to a science, man. That's what AEW's got to do. Who's your 6? And Jesus Christ, man. It's so, look to Heyman. Like, he laid the blueprint out, pun intended, with the blue brand SmackDown.
doing 4 shows a week out of the 7. So when you're on a consistent flow, even though injuries are more at risk, your adrenaline and your momentum and your emotion you're just like on a great. Yeah,
dude. Absolutely. Shut up, Ray. GOAT luchador. So yeah, NXT's viewership was back up this past Tuesday following last week's episode. So 732K, up 5%. And the key demo, 0.15, crushing it. That, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE news. I'm going to check in with chat, and we're going to play some flutes. We're going to make fun of Dave Meltzer, okay? But that, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for WWE news.